Harry Potter and Anakin Skywalker were the two chosen ones in their respective worlds. Both were courageous, flawed, and willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of others. But what if their worlds collided? What if Harry Potter was in Star Wars? How would this change both worlds? As you're about to see, a lot changes. The only assumption we're going to make here is that Harry has no knowledge of Anakin's world. So we're going to start in the Deathly Hallows, where Harry is struggling in his search for the Horcruxes. Not only was he struggling, but his faithful holy wand had been broken, and Ron had left him and Hermione after an argument. Now in the Forest of Dean, Harry was thinking of his next move, in hope rather than expectation. But then, Harry sees two white lights in the distance. Raising Hermione's wand, he casts a beam of light and heads towards the larger light first. Walking towards it, he sees the ghost of a figure that he had never seen before, looking straight at him. Harry tightened his grip on Hermione's wand. "Who are you?" asked Harry towards the mysterious ghostly figure. The figure announced himself to be Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn. Harry had no clue what a Jedi Master was, but it seemed to be a rank of some significance. Qui-Gon then surprised Harry, telling him how he was losing the war against Voldemort and needed additional assistance were he to turn it around. Whilst Harry was normally stubborn and wanted to do everything himself, recent events had opened his mind to being assisted by others. Qui-Gon then proposed an offer which would shake the fate of both worlds. Qui-Gon offered for Harry to give assistance in his world, in return for assistance in Harry's world. Harry thought to himself, could he leave his friends behind? Was this a risk worth taking? Glancing at the remnants of his broken wand in Hagrid's pouch, there was only one option. Accepting Qui-Gon's request, Harry was further surprised when Qui-Gon levitated his broken wand and put the parts together. When Harry asked how Qui-Gon could achieve such magic, Qui-Gon merely smiled, levitating Hermione's wand back to the tent. He then gestured to an old boot, and with a tentative prod, Harry ascended away from the forest. After what seemed a long time, Harry landed on the ground. Looking up, he saw objects zooming past overhead in tall buildings. This was a city of some sort, thought Harry to himself. Getting up, Harry looked around for Qui-Gon, but he was nowhere to be found. Walking along a dimly lit street, he muttered a string of curses to himself, wondering how he could have been that desperate that he could have succumbed to this trap. He should have chosen the other light. Before he could drown in his self-pity any further, a scruffy-looking figure walked up to him. Harry gripped his newly repaired wand a little tighter, but sensed no danger from the man. The man introduced himself as Jedi Master Quigon Voss, and then gestured for Harry to follow him as they made their way through the network of streets, walking past an array of species Harry had never known. Was he even on the same planet anymore? He thought to himself. Taking a turbo lift, far quicker than anything Harry had ever experienced, they made their way towards the top of the city. Now looking over the city, Harry could see a giant structure, dominating the landscape, appearing to be a temple of some kind. Eventually reaching the temple, Harry could see a lot of young children in the courtyard, appearing to be fencing with laser swords. This was definitely not magic, Harry thought to himself again. Entering the temple, Harry found it hard not to be amazed at the sheer scale of the building. It made Hogwarts' Great Hall look like a small shed. Harry and Quinlan made their way to a meditation chamber, where Harry saw a small green figure waiting for them. As Quinlan bowed, the figure introduced himself as Yoda, and recalled to Harry how Qui-Gon had contacted him as part of the Living Force. Harry could instantly see why Yoda was so well respected. He managed to exude an aura of intelligence, power, and yet humility. For the next hour or so, Harry asked questions about Yoda's world, and what he needed to do to complete Qui-Gon's deal. This would be a challenge. Meanwhile, back in the Forest of Dean, Hermione woke up. Getting up, she saw no sign of Harry, only a small note, with her wand, telling her how he would be back soon. Hermione sighed in resignation, as she collapsed back onto her bed. That is it for part 1 of What If Harry Potter Was in Star Wars. If you would like to see more of this crossover, Please like this video and subscribe for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.